What's up, guys? Jay Lee here. Got another Northwest podcast for you today. Today I'm going to be reading simp comments on Facebook. Just got a couple comments for you, but obviously, as we all know, simps are out there in force. They're on the YouTube videos, they're on the Facebook thirst trap picture posts, etc. They're on Instagram, they're on Twitter. Shilling for pussy is more prevalent than it's ever been in history. The strategy that these guys have, if you ever get a chance, watch a video by Joe Rogan. I believe it's called White Knights and Wounded Gazelles. I'm not 100% sure on the title there, but oh man, I wish I could remember that title. But Joe Rogan is talking about how these beta white knight guys will pretend to be male feminist allies just so they can get some pussy. And this is, in 2020, it's more prevalent than I've ever seen it. These guys are simping for pussy, simping for attention. Now, it almost seems like this strategy has started to work, which maybe that's not, maybe that's not a good thing. I mean, obviously, it's not a good thing because these guys they're not, they don't have any standards. They're allowing women to be polyamorous. They're allowing women to cheat on them. They're allowing women to, have all kinds of bad behavior. And this is all in the vein of, feminist empowerment. This is all in the vein of, women are equal kind of crap. If you say anything negative about a woman's behavior, if you call her out for being a slut, if you say single moms are bad, if you just say anything bad about females or female nature at all whatsoever, any red pill truth, etc., you will get shamed and attacked, not just by women, but by men. And this is something that I've been doing online for about 7 years. And not many people do it. I'm pretty rare. I've been doing it on Facebook probably since about 2013, late 2013, early 2014. That's right around when I really, really took the red pill and became sort of MGTOW, and then ventured off from MGTOW, but then, stayed with the red pill at least. I've been speaking these truths. I've been talking out against abortion. I've been talking out against, polyamory, the loose promiscuity, all this kind of stuff. Talking out against, female domestic violence. Basically, I've been speaking red pill truths online for about 6 or 7 years. And I've seen again and again, it's always consistent, and I'm good at it now, but I used to not be good at it. And I learned the hard way on how to deal with these people. But I just speak the truth. I usually don't engage. I usually don't get suckered into their emotional arguments, because they never have any rational points. They never have any. The only thing they can say is you're a misogynist and you hate women and you're an incel, and that's it. They can't argue facts. They can't argue statistics. But anyway, I want to read some of these comments and sort of just break it down and talk about it a little bit. So this here is what we see. So this is the reason why I chose these specific comments is because, one, this first comment here that I'm looking at now is going to expose how these guys think. Okay, the sort of motivation for why they do what they do and how they say what they say. So he says the odds of a woman going through life with no children is much lower than a man failing to reproduce. Nothing is ever the same. So what he's basically saying is that women have more value than men, essentially, because they can reproduce and they will probably reproduce, whereas a lot of men won't reproduce. So he's basically basing value on procreation. So this is this is a layered argument. There's a lot of depth to what he's saying, actually, because it's sort of centered in the survival, biological, reproductive aspect of human life. And basically, a lot of people out there really kind of if you really get to the essence of sort of the atheist argument and sort of the non-moralistic argument, the non-idealist argument when it just comes to biology and human human survival, existence, purpose, and things like that, what it all boils down to is procreation. That's it. Like if you take God out of the equation, if you take morals out of the equation, if you take standards and ideals and ethics and all those classifications of purpose and reasons for being, if you take all that out, the only thing you're left with is procreation. That's it. So life is really just about procreating. Life is really just about having a seed, having a child, and then, that's it. You die, and there's no afterlife. This is what these people believe, and this is why they're able to have polyamorous relationships and not feel weird about it. This is why they're able to sleep around and sort of not act like there's anything wrong with that. This is why they don't care about morals. This is why they have no bad conscience about killing babies, abortion, because it's all linked to this, it's all just about procreation. Okay. There's no like, if you really get to the essence of what they're saying, love doesn't matter. Having a quality relationship doesn't matter. See, I'm not against family. I don't know if people realize that. If you listen to my channel, I'm not against family. In fact, I'm pro-family, very much so. I'm pro-traditional values. The problem is that slutting around in your teens and 20s and then getting married when you're 30 is not traditional. That's not a traditional value, and it's not ideal either. The irony about traditional values is traditional values are the safest. The traditional values are the best, because when you love one person and when you get with one person, there's something special about that. And when you're loyal with one person, there's something special about that. But they remove that with this polyamory lifestyle. They remove that with this, accept me for my past, even though I was a huge slut lifestyle. And then what it really boils down to, we as red pill men know that it boils down to beta bucks, alpha fucks beta bucks. We know it boils down to that. When women are chasing alphas in their teens and 20s, and then they settle down with the beta guy, and usually they got kids by this time. So this guy's 100% beta. His argument is beta. What's coming out of is he's basically saying he's basically coming out of a scarcity mindset and saying men had better start respecting women, because if men keep telling the truth about women, if men keep exposing women with this red pill, then they're not going to be able to procreate. And it's like, oh, really? Is that the worst thing that can happen? Darn, my seed doesn't get passed on. Oh, well, guess what's going to happen? The earth is still going to go on. And unfortunately, these guys, the beta seed gets passed on. So really the fault lies on the woman. It doesn't lie on the alpha for not becoming beta. So what he's doing is he's asking alphas to become beta. An alpha trait is to, not settle down with a slut. Alphas don't settle down with sluts. Alphas don't pass their seed on to weak women. Alpha men do not shack up and impregnate stupid women. That's not an alpha trait. Sorry to say. It's not, I just have to spread my seed to anybody. No, you need to have some standards. Alphas have standards. This guy has no standards. He's basically in a scarcity, fearful mindset that he might not be able to pass his seed on because he has no foundation. He has no solid character, no solid morals, etc. All he has is fear. All he has is, oh gosh, I won't get to pass my seed on. Okay, then don't pass your seed on. Oh well, you don't have a baby. Like, it's not the end of the world, because these women are going to get knocked up in anyways. And so what do you want to be, just a beta provider? What do you think having sex and then having a kid is like the end all to life? She's just going to have your seed, and then she's going to use you for the alimony. She's going to keep riding the cock carousel, or she's going to marry somebody who's got more money than you. I mean, the female imperative does not stop at having kids. They are still hypergamous after they have kids. They are still, the female sexual dating, etc. imperative. Okay, they are still seeking a high value man, even if I've known more than a few women who've gotten knocked up with beta guys, weak guys, and continued on their hypergamy. In fact, one of my ex-girlfriends was engaged to a guy, and she had his kid, and then she left him for me. Okay, she was engaged and she was pregnant and she left the guy for me, and she didn't even tell me she was engaged to the guy. That's how strong hypergamy is. I was more alpha than this guy. Okay, he even made more money than me. I was just more alpha than him. Okay, and she didn't like him very much because he was a beta. He was a weak-minded beta guy, and he got her pregnant because he probably had this mindset, and he probably thinks, oh, it's so twisted. Like, how can you think that? Like, okay, well, I got a woman pregnant. I guess that means I'm worth something. I got a woman pregnant. I guess that means I have value. Like, no, dude, like, you don't just get a woman pregnant just to get a woman pregnant. You get a woman pregnant because you want to have kids with a woman that you love in a loving, loyal family scenario. And people will say, well, he was engaged to her. No, like, she left him because she has hypergamy. She left him because this is what women today do. They're not loyal. They seek out weak men because they want to control the relationship. This is what feminism teaches men. Feminism teaches men and teaches women to she teaches women to be equal to men, which really is just running the relationship. Because if you don't agree with what the woman is saying, then you are weak. If you don't agree with what the woman does, then you are viewed as a toxic male. This is why feminism is so insidious. This is why feminism is so dangerous and damaging to society, because it says, anything a man does that a woman disagrees with is in that category of toxic masculinity. So then I say, imagine being such a brainwashed, weak-minded beta that you're worried about reproducing, especially to the point of desperation. Shake my head. Yeah, I mean, if you're so worried about reproducing, then why don't you, find a quality woman? And if you can't find a quality woman, then you shouldn't be worried about reproducing. Because if reproduction is your only goal, then you would want to reproduce with a quality female so that you could have a quality seed. But I don't think that's it. I think these guys are just worried about, not having sex, or worried about being called a loser because they didn't procreate. There's nothing alpha about that. To me, that's as beta as it comes. Like, okay, if I can't find a quality woman to reproduce with, then I just won't reproduce. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because I'm secure in who I am. I know my values. I have values, and I'm not just going to go knock up some messed up slut just to reproduce. I'm not going to knock up some toxic, slutty woman that I don't really love, that I don't really want to have a long-term relationship with, that I don't really want to love for the rest of my life and move in with. I'm not going to do that just to keep her around, because that's beta, that's weak. And if this is what women are forcing men to do, then I'm going to step away from the whole thing. I'm going to go MGTOW on it, all right? Even though I'm not really a full MGTOW yet, or whatever. I haven't walked away from women. But if that's the case, then in that sense, in the reproductive sense, I'm going to go MGTOW. I'm not going to mess around with one of these women just to have a kid. So this other one here is an example of, this is a comment. So that one was specifically for, like I said, these two comments that I'm talking about today are really just about how these guys act online and what they do and sort of their motives. So that other one was for how guys are so afraid to reproduce and how they're in a scarcity mindset and how it's beta. And that is the essence. This one here is the essence of a male feminist white knight. This is exposing their essence. Like, this is what their real fear is. Oh, I don't get to procreate, right? This here is sort of how they suck up to women. This is one of these same guys, these beta white knight male feminist guys, right? This is a comment that was placed under a picture of a woman who, basically took a selfie, and she had her tits all perked up, and she was like, she basically took a thirst trap selfie. So this comment is basically just out of nowhere. Like, she didn't say anything to even allude to him making this comment. He just said it out of nowhere, because this is basically, like, if you break down what this comment means, he's basically saying, like, oh, I'm not like those other guys. And again, go watch that Joe Rogan video where he's talking about, male feminists. I think it's called something like Male Feminists and Wounded Gazelles or something like that. But you can YouTube that. So basically he's saying, he says a man isn't a man if he lays hands on a woman. If he does, he's a pussy. Libby, beautiful photo and true words.